Hey there, I hope you are as cranked as I am to burn rubber through the sounds of the 1950s. There's no time to waste, and with the 12 hip records fresh out of the 50s, we are going to break down for you. We have 4 major sections: the rock gods, women in the spotlight, boys with personality, and a few other odds and ends. The 1950s were a time of great musical change, and some, like Crazy Man, kinda changes. Get ready for some who, what, where, when, and whys about the 12 record covers you see before you, and a quick insight into the kooky 1950s. The record by Elvis Presley was released in 1956, recorded by RCA in 2 sessions in New York and Tennessee. This record was made at risk of failure. No one was expecting the album to succeed. The significance of this album, however, shows the complete opposite of what was expected. The record started out quiet, but after a month and a TV appearance of Elvis, it began to make ground. The album became the rock and roll #1 in the nation and was the first $1 million RCA pop album. Little Richard, 1957, LA. His songs were high tempo and went against the assumption that African American singers had to be polite. Little Richard's songs also had a touch of homosexual reference, which was outrageous at the time. He was categorized as different and had a drag look to him. The song Tutti Frutti is argued to be the first rock and roll song. Originally released as a single in 1955, his grainy voice and wail of his band is still remembered today. The movie Cinderella was released in 1950 by Walt Disney. The song was written by Oliver Wallace and Paul Smith. Cinderella, her castle, and her songs are some of the most iconic to come from Disney. The movie and soundtrack would come to shape in many of the most famous and popular Disney moments and traditions, all starting in the 1950s. Born in 1922, Doris starred in lots of movies and sang for many of them. This particular song was a part of the soundtrack in the film I'll See You in My Dreams. Doris Day is now described on her website as the quintessential all-American girl, continues to be revered by her fans, while the media still celebrate her as an actress and singer with a legendary Hollywood girl next door image. It couldn't be said much better than that. Etta James, born in Jamsetta Hawkins, performed in so many different genres of music: blues, R&B, soul, rock and roll, jazz, and gospel, allowing her to have over a dozen hit singles. This helped her be a 4-time Grammy winner. Etta was a rock and roll Hall of Famer who helped to represent African American women in many sounds of the 1950s. Buddy Holly and his band, The Crickets, released the smash success single That'll Be the Day in 1957, based on the famous John Wayne quote from the movie The Searchers. The song was originally recorded a year previously, but the recording studio refused to release it. The song was a huge success from a previously unknown band and a singer that just 2 years prior was the opening act at his own high school for Elvis and Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash was one of the most prominent indie country singers in that time, recording a staggering 13 songs that reached #1 on the billboards. The most famous #1 song from Johnny Cash was I Walk the Line, a comical song about why he always stays faithful to his wife. Tom Lehrer released We Will All Go Together When We Go in 1959. This song was very popular, but also controversial, as it brought up the issue of the arms race with Russia. This song was released during the height of the Cold War and the Red Scares. Its lyrics talk about how, if there was a war, we all will die. Antowine Fats Domino, a rhythm and blues pianist that paved the way for rock and roll during the 50s. Born as one of the 9 siblings in a musical family, and learned to play the piano when he was 7, and dropped out of school when he was 14 to pursue a musical career. Fats' first record was the first rock and roll album to sell over 1 million copies. This Is Fats includes such songs as Blueberry Hill, which reached top charts in 1956 as the #2 pop song. Charlie Parker was a jazz saxophonist who created new styles of jazz that added to the wide variety in the world. Parker started his career in 1935 when he decided to drop out of school to pursue full-time music. He played in clubs in Kansas City, Chicago, and eventually New York, where he decided to stay. Charlie Parker with Strings features some of the most popular sellers Parker recorded. This album was even admitted to the Grammy Hall of Fame. This was one of the last albums Parker released before his heroin overdose in 1955. All 12 of these covers have come together on our mural to artistically represent so much of the 1950s. We used the rule of thirds by splitting our record covers into 3 rows, the clean lines, and in 12 by 12 squares we created to help represent the conformity of the time, and the large variety in tunes shows diversity that was able to still emerge. We worked to stay true with the colors to the original album covers. The organization of the records was to split up like colors and create a pleasing to look at relationship of colors. From Buddy Holly to Charlie Parker, we hope you've heard and seen a little deeper into the culture and movements of the 1950s. Thank you.